All right, it's time to crack a beer and get the show started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, sitting to my left.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
Guys, we are not going to be joined by Dr. Tino or Bobbert Collins. Boba Fett. I don't know why that was the first name that came to mind to me. But guys, if you could do us a favor, head on over to our nerd news page, Sorta My Comics on Facebook, and follow Sorta My Podcast on Instagram. Like those pages. Check out Subject to Change Entertainment on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to that channel on YouTube and SoundCloud. You're checking this out somewhere. While here, why not like, comment, and share. Sharing is the way to get us out in front of people. Sharing is the way to help us make this thing grow. We need money and we need exposure. And of course, all of our personal social media is down in the description below, except for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live right now, because that is what we do now. If you're catching this in the podcast form later on and you want to see it a little sooner, you want to get involved in the conversation, check us out on the Subject to Change Entertainment page. And on every other Saturday, we'll put a schedule out someday.
Eventually.
Yeah, when I want to make the time for
someday in the future.
Right.
Maybe.
So let's go ahead and move on to our little moment of banter section. We'll get caught up on us and what we've been up to and everything. First of all, I finally saw Ready Player One. There's been a little saga going on with us.
You weren't as disappointed as you thought you were going to be, were you?
No, I was actually exactly as disappointed as I thought it was going to be. And I hate to be that guy who's like, the book was better, but fuck, the book is so much better. And it's a pacing thing, it's a character development thing, where you can tell that this movie was made by Steven Spielberg. At the same time, it feels way too fast for him. It seemed... the pace was out of hand. That was one of the most jarring things.
It seems like they could have made an entire movie out of each challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And I had an idea. I thought it would have made a much better like Netflix series. You create a 3-season structure. Each season is the various challenges and gates, the keys and gates. From the book. But the movie doesn't even have the gates. It just has the keys, which is ridiculous because in the book, there are these various intricate challenges that they have to do. Like, not much of a spoiler because it happens pretty early in the book, but for the first copper key, he has to decipher this Dungeons and Dragons lair and avoid all these traps and monsters because he's a low-level guy and he can't really take them on until he gets to the end where he has to play a video game against the Demilich or something like that. And so they took that, and in the movie, instead, it's just a race where he had to figure out to go backwards. And that's disappointing. And the whole movie's like that. When you have these character development moments and relationship building moments from the book, it's all encapsulated in action. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I can see where people think it's a good movie, and it is. Like, it's a fun, adventure-filled movie with a lot of cool references and stuff. And instead of sticking strictly to 80s, they slip some 90s and early 2000s stuff in there as well, and I appreciate that. But really, it's just apples to oranges. You know, I'd rather keep the doctor away. You know? Is my hot take on it. I also saw Super Troopers 2.
I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I really want to.
It was not as good as you would think.
Well,
I mean, it was all right. It was okay, but it ultimately it's just I feel like they pandered to their crowdsourcing audience too much. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and okay, you watched Firefly, right?
Yeah, of course.
The reason, and this comes from Whedon's mouth, the reason that season 2 will never happen is because it'll never be as good as the fans want it to be. It'll never live up to the hype that the fans have built that next season up to, like, the pedestal they put it on, and I feel like this kind of goes in that same manner.
And that's a fair assessment.
Like, based on, like, the first installment.
But this has a basic premise to build off of that is good enough to put these characters in, because basically the idea is that Vermont is taking over a small town over the Canadian border due to some sort of like tax thing. I'm sure it's all nonsense, but just for the sake of the story, that's what they're doing in this movie. And more or less it's them feuding with the Canadian Mounties, and then it turns out that there's this whole deeper plot that's kind of fucked up. And so you take that, but then you sprinkle on like 20 different jokes from the other movie, and you get distracted.
Yeah.
It was all right. I'm glad I paid $5 for it to go watch it. I only paid $5 to go watch it, and that is the suggested way to see that one. Another thing, we all saw Infinity War. The review is up now. Check out SMP number 41 on SoundCloud and YouTube. It's right up there right now. Me and Dr. T. Neal went and saw that one, reviewed it right after. But what we haven't talked about is the box office, which it was one of the highest growing box offices opening weekend. It blew right up that list.
The opening weekend was insane.
Well, where it's sitting right now, we're 8 days out from its release date when we're recording this, and it is sitting at $974.5 million, just under $1 billion, which it probably crossed while I'm saying this. It will definitely have crossed by the time this episode goes up on our various channels. And yeah, that's insane in just over a week, a day over a week, and Avengers is already almost $1 billion, like just under the line. It's insane.
Well, I saw something earlier where its 1 week mark was almost triple, or no, not triple. It was like almost double that of the Justice League 1 month mark.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm not surprised it beat Justice League in a lot of different areas. And don't get me wrong, I thought Justice League was fun, but still, this is different.
This is the culmination of 10 years of movies.
Right.
Now, if Justice League had been the culmination of 10 years of, decent DC movies,
right,
they could have been there, but they wanted.
Yeah.
They're trying to jump the gun.
No. So what have you been up to? What have you been doing this week?
Honestly, I've been playing a lot of God of War.
A lot of God. Yes, the new one that's out right now.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because I haven't got to play it yet.
Obviously, Kratos has a kid.
Yeah.
It borrows its story from another game I can't remember the name of. But your goal is to take the ashes of your dead wife to the highest mountain and release them. So you and your son are setting out to do this. Obviously, there's difficulties along the way.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you encounter a stranger who I'm not going to say a whole lot to give too much of the game away. But he can't feel pain. He is a bitch to fight. Like, it's one of your first fights of the game. Like you go through a little
like
temple.
A difficult bitch, or like a on your ass all the time about taking the garbage out bitch.
Yes. The on your ass part the whole time.
Single.
Like, he'll jump him. It's a he. You're still single. We get it.
It's 2018, man.
Like, it's a very intense fight at the very start of the game, and you go through. It's very open world. There's a lot of side quests. You can explore different areas.
Okay.
And now this is away from the Greek mythology. This is bringing in Norse mythology.
Yeah, I heard that, because he killed all the other gods in the other games, right?
Yeah.
Which, screw spoilers on that one, because they've been out a while. Yeah.
So, obviously he's the ghost of Sparta. He's the god of war.
Yeah.
He has a son. There's so many memes out right now, and because
I haven't seen any memes. Really.
They're when you forget your kid's name, boy.
Boy.
Like, that is all he calls him, unless it's like a cutscene or something. But even still, I think Kratos has only said his name once or twice. And I'm pretty far through the game. I haven't beat it yet. But, like, there's so much shit going on with, like, Odin, Loki, Thor, like, so many other guys. Like, Thor is apparently the biggest asshole in the realms. Like, the World Serpent, you've heard of that before, right?
No.
Okay. It's a snake that wraps around the earth and stays around it by holding onto its own tail.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get to talk to that thing.
This is like the turtle in It.
I don't know.
Have you never read It?
Nope. Speaking of turtles, there's a giant fucking turtle that a lady lives in, underneath of.
Interesting.
It's alive. It's okay. You don't start out with your normal like blades of chaos. You start out with like almost like a lumberjack's axe.
Well, we don't leave every aspect of the game right up.
Like it steers away a lot from the other God of War games.
I was gonna say, I've heard that it's got a very different tone, a very different feel to it, especially when it comes to things like sex mini games. Like
there's none of those that I've encountered so far.
Okay.
Like there's no like mini games at all.
Really?
That I've encountered. Like I said, they're
like quick time moments or anything like that?
No. Huh. I mean like during encounters or something like that, like you're fighting someone and there's kind of like you have your response commands.
Okay.
But not like it's almost always combat related.
Okay.
But like I said, open world, like there's so much to explore, so much to do. And you backtrack a lot because you gain new abilities as the game progresses, so you can do different things in different areas that you couldn't before.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hours you can put into this game and still not play the full game.
So it's got like side quests.
Oh, cool. A shit ton.
Is it open world?
For the most part, like there are times where you have to follow the storyline. Like if you start this part of a quest, you have to continue on that quest line. But then after that's said and done, you can go back to like exploring the areas of the lake and different realms and everything else.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. I might borrow that from you, and you'll get it back sometime 3 years from now
That's
when I finish it. But let's go ahead and move on from our moment of banter to some trailers. We actually had quite a few different ones come out. First one I want to talk about, Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe had a trailer come out. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a show. What is coming out on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming out on YouTube from the Bat in the Sun channel. They're the guys who make all the superpower beatdown videos you may have seen.
Now, didn't they just do the Bloodshot stuff with JDF? Or has that not been released yet?
No, that's part of this.
Is it part of this?
Yeah,
okay.
He's Bloodshot in this film. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the synopsis of this, or really these characters at all, I got the synopsis right here. Colin King is Ninjak, MI6's deadliest intelligence operative and weapons expert. When the I'm doing so great. When the ruthless assassin Roku exploits his greatest weakness, Ninjak will be forced to betray his closest allies. Now, on the run, he must face off against the most powerful heroes known to man for an high-octane, take-no-prisoners trial by fire, for more perilous and more unpredictable than any he's faced before. In 2017, the world's most dangerous super spy goes to war with the Valiant Universe. And I want to point out that 2017. I thought about changing it, but that is lifted right from their IMDb page. Yeah, so they obviously haven't been keeping up with that. Oh, no. I put the note on here right now. That is available on comicbook.com right now. Now, from the trailer, you can't really get any of this story, so that's why I decided to include the synopsis. But really, the trailer is mostly just high action, a lot of cool shots here, cool shots there. You get to see the Green Ranger's dead shots, which looks all right. Bloodshot, that's right, yeah. Yeah. I'm not a Valiant guy. I'm sorry.
I'm not either. I don't know
mainstream stuff.
I don't know how I would feel about JDF playing someone like Deadshot.
It could work.
I could see it being less Will Smithy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we can all agree that Jason David Frank playing Deadshot was much different than Will Smith.
Yeah.
I'm resisting so many comments because I know I'm gonna go, that's racist. Anyways,
best to avoid that then.
Yeah, Ninjak looks cool. They got the hair. I've seen Ninjak before. I've actually read a couple of his books, so just random shit from the 90s. The hair, he's got that whole swooping spike thing, which really, really cool touch. Why couldn't they put JDF in body paint? They just gray washed him. That's what it looks like, anyways. It looks like it's just a special effect in Adobe After Effects.
I know, because there were a lot of pictures of him getting the gray wash makeup.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, then maybe that's a testament to the effects in this, because they cleaned it up so good it looked fake. I don't know, but yeah, that's what we're dealing with in that. Check out that trailer. It's on YouTube right now. Again, you can watch that on comicbook.com. But moving on to something a little bit more exciting, you get a little more story from the new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer came out, and I got a couple notes about this because, one, I noticed they talk about quantum realm instead of the microverse.
Mm-hmm.
What is that all about? Why are they doing that?
My guess is they have figured out that it's not so much like them shrinking to the point of just being but like beyond microscopic or whatever, but they have entered a completely different like state of being or something.
Well, and there is that one shot from the trailer where it looks like you're seeing it through a filter, and you're seeing someone walk down there, but it looks like a fully fleshed out like garden or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why, but still, why not just call it the microverse?
Because
it's already an established thing, you know.
Maybe for them, it's. Like in the microverse, it's not micro; it's normal. I don't know.
Why?
Maybe they don't have microwaves, Vinny. Maybe they don't have.
I want them from you. I want them now. I know you know them.
They don't have microwaves. That's why you can't have a microverse without microwaves.
Fair enough. We also get to see more of Ghost's powers in this, which was really cool. Seeing her fly through that van. Mm-hmm. And what did she do? She kicked that one dude in the face and then went intangible again and floated out the other side or something. It was nuts. It was real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real fast the way she did it. But yeah, we got to see more Ghost powers. It looked really cool. I'm excited about her. And maybe we are starting to see too much of the tag team stuff that they're going to have in the movie, because there was a lot in the first trailer. There seems to be even more in this trailer, and I know Marvel is good for this, like, because everyone was worried about Infinity War, and the stuff you see in Infinity War trailer is like maybe from most of the first movie, and a third of that is like maybe from the end of the movie.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's one thing that we have to keep in mind about Marvel is the fact that regardless of what they show us in the trailers, it's not that revealing when it comes to the overall spectrum of the movie.
There have been times, but and I feel like maybe this is
far between.
But but that also begs the question: if this isn't them showing too much, and there's more in store, is that too much for the movie?
I don't think it would be, because like if they're showing this much now, remember. there are things that they put in their trailers that just don't even go into the movie.
Yeah, they've become lying bastards lately.
I mean,
which I'm kind of loving it, and at the same time, I'm like, well, where the fuck was that scene? I was waiting on that one.
Well, it's like part of me goes back to some of the things that we saw for Infinity War. Was like them running through what appeared to be a Wakandan jungle. You got Hulk running over here, like you have Iron Patriot, all this.
Yeah,
and
it turns out just to be a field.
That actual scene never happened.
This is true, yeah.
So a lot of things.
Holy shit! No, you're right, because Hulk was like right there with them.
But now just don't.
No, we can't go deep into that. Again, our review is already up, so no Avengers Infinity War spoilers to worry about here. But yeah, no, that was cool. But the coolest thing about this trailer, we got Goliath by name. Lawrence Fishburne is like Goliath, and he's having that back and forth. You didn't see that at the end of the trailer?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that at the end of this trailer?
No.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, Lawrence Fishburne is sitting down with Paul Rudd, and they're talking and having a little back and forth. He's talking about how he was Goliath back in the day. So maybe we're going to get to see a flashback for that. And they do this great bit where he's Scott Lang's like, how big did you get? And he was like, 21 feet. He's like, how big could you get? And Scott Lang fires back with 65 feet. And then you have what it's Janet is the original Wasp, right?
Yeah.
Who is the new one? Pamela Van Dyne, maybe? The new Wasp is like, are you boys done comparing sizes? It's real funny part. But even more than that being a humorous part, I'm just excited to hear Goliath.
Yeah,
I'm anticipating. Nods. Yes, and I feel like it's going to be more than just a nod, because in the first movie we got to see Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne in the Ant-Man and Wasp costumes and stuff. So I feel like we're going to get another flashback here, a little bit of Goliath action in this film, and that can only be good.
I'd love to see that.
They're going to
have Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, and they're going to have to young up his face.
They're going to Marvel movie magic that shit.
Well, are they going to make him slimmer? They're gonna
to.
Oh my god, but that's going to offend so many people. We live in that culture now that, like, if you make Lawrence Fishburne slimmer, even if it's like 20 years before the events of this movie, it's going to piss off some. Oh, why are you body shaming?
You know what? No. All they'd have to do is be like, okay, well, how did he look in the Matrix?
Yeah.
And just take that.
We just took him back to Matrix levels, guy. Nah, it's still going to piss people off. They're going to take this beautiful, awesome thing from the Marvel Universe and they're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
But luckily, none of that's going to ruin shit for me because I live outside of the hype. I don't pay attention to Twitter. Look at me, guys. I'm better than other people.
Look,
it feels like that's what I was saying just now.
Look at Vinny. He's better than you. He just said he's better than you.
I'm better than people who pay attention to Twitter.
We just lost all of our followers.
No, I just can't figure Twitter out. That's what it is. I can't keep up with Twitter is my problem.
I've tried explaining it.
Yeah, well. We got another trailer to talk about, though. The Venom trailer. Yep, the big boy of these past 2 weeks.
Just right off the bat, everyone has been waiting for the trailer.
Yeah.
Now, leading up to this, we've had our teasers.
Yeah, we had the teaser, and we were, on the episode where we covered that, we were praising how withdrawn it was with information, like it didn't show us the Venom suit
because
we were praising
it was a teaser.
Yeah, legit teaser.
Yeah. So in this one, like, we get a couple of scenes from the teaser.
Yep.
But there's more to the scenes. Like, a lot of people said, like, in the teasers, they were like, did you see the black crawling up his neck when he was in, like, the MRI machine?
Yeah.
In the actual trailer, you do see that.
Oh, you said, well, no, it
like,
was
it
was in the teaser. It's just a little tiny bit. And I trust me, because I have to watch these things like 60 times for each episode. But there was a little bit crawling up his neck. But in this one,
it's like coming up.
Yeah, it gets up
coming
to his face. And that was really cool. But this trailer is getting a lot of hate
because of the pronunciation.
Well, it's not just that, but I did want to bring that up. Symbiote? Are we saying it wrong? Have we been saying it wrong this whole time? Because that's what I'm wondering. Like, see, they gotta have fact checkers on this.
Well, and that's the thing is symbiote, like however you want to say it. I don't know if that is a legitimate, recognized like Webster dictionary word.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that it is a word that has been developed for this kind.
No.
There's symbiosis, whatever.
Symbiotic. Those are established terms. So why wouldn't symbiote be?
Because I don't think that there is an actual organism that is just strictly like a symbiote.
If there are any biologists, if the 2 viewers we have right now, go ahead and comment down below. Let us know
if you know the actual facts.
I think symbiote has been an established term for a legitimate term, like a Webster's dictionary.
I wonder if it's interchangeable.
Maybe.
I mean, there are so many different
pronunciations
out there that are interchangeable.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. We have a phrase: tomato.
This is true. Yeah, there could be multiple ways to say it. And,
so who's to say that she's not British? Or because
she's definitely not British, as evidence of the trailer. Okay, well, did you watch the trailer? Or
yes,
are you just making things up and getting
I've watched
really
it several
lucky?
times. I've watched it several times.
I think you're making shit up and getting really lucky.
Of an accent, though. Like, she is not like full blown. Okay. She's been born and raised in America. She speaks American.
I can't remember the name of this accent. I can't remember the name of this actress, but I have seen her in other things. I've seen her in a variety of comedy shows, most notably probably Parks and Recreation. But
who is she in Parks and Recreation?
She plays his name's not Ralph Macchio, which we'll be talking about later. No, it's shit. Okay. He's the guy who's like, technically I'm homeless. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking. Oh, this is gonna kill us.
If you guys know,
if you guys know, drop it down in the comments below. It's
Ralph Macchio.
It's Ralph Macchio. Anyways, it's his, Aziz Ansari's best friend. You know who he is. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. And it's his sister who ends up working for and dating Aziz Ansari at his clothing store that he runs. There's actually 2 comments, and for some reason I'm not seeing them on my screen. So there are 3 comments. People are going nuts. Holy shit. All we had to do was forget one fucking actor's name. John Ralphio. It's John Ralphio. Yeah. Well, apparently all I had to do was...
Why are you the way you are? Because I'm on pills, baby.
Yeah, no, I love that guy. Even though I can't remember his name. But yeah, no. Anyways.
Thanks, John.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Anyways, back to our initial point. Her voice is no different than it is in that show. So I think that's just her natural.
So then she's just been told to say it like this.
Yeah. That's just, or maybe that's just how she read it. And maybe her character from Parks and Recreation is how she actually is. And they corrected her and she's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be in the parking lot setting your life on fire. Something like that. So, who knows? Could be one or the other. But
I want to hear someone else in the trailer. Like, I want to hear someone else in the movie
right, because she's the only one who says it. She says it twice, very distinctly.
Yes.
But I think the other reason that this trailer is getting a lot of hate is because of also the effect of Venom. And I kind of touched on this in our Avengers Infinity review when we talked about the effects in the movie. So some people might have already heard this, but the illustrious 10 may have already heard this. But people need to get the fuck over special effects. Like, it is, I don't think it's ever going to get to a seamless place. And,
well, okay, what we're looking at is not going to happen. in real life. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
see that
Okay.
happen.
Yeah, and
It's like-
that was going to be my second point. My first point is, and again, I don't know the actual science behind this. I'm not an iologist.
I'm not an iologist.
I'm not an iologist here, but I can say that I have read a few different things where they say that our eye can discern between reality and the uncanny valley, as it's known, and we're always going to be able to tell when it's CG, more or less.
Yeah.
Now there are some blendings where people use. Especially in the Star Wars films, where people have used practical effects and CG, like washing on them. In the Force Awakens, when the character from the Jakku junkyard, the one played by Simon Pegg, most people think that that's a full-on CG character. No, that's a dude in a suit. And they just CG'd the face a little bit. And that's it. So it's this weird line that we're always going to point out the CG over top of reality. And so you're never going to get a legit looking Venom. You will never get it. I'm saying that right fucking now. I'm saying that for 30 years in the future. I'm making the call now. You heard it here first. Never.
Well, like I was saying, like, it's not real. Like, you're not gonna like go anywhere and see that in real life that's not a costume.
Yeah, and that's the second point.
Yeah, you're not gonna go and see, like, okay, sorry,
a guy burp on live.
Yeah, no, you'll see that all the time.
Yeah, that's gonna happen a lot.
You'll never see, okay, in Guardians of the Galaxy, like some of the effects used there. Yeah. You're never going to see some of those creatures in real life,
right? And that's on the flip side of that. In addition to that point, what do you think a symbiote from another planet that just forms based on its understanding of life on the planet that it's on to look like? What do you think that looks like? Because I don't know. I've never seen one. So who are we to judge?
And there again, like, we know what the Venom symbiote is supposed to be based on.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be kind of a rip of the Black Spider-Man costume.
Right.
And everything else.
But I don't think that's going to be the case in this.
Well, I feel like, without knowledge of everything Venom, I feel like the teeth and all of that, kind of
get it together, man.
Come from the psyche of Eddie Brock.
Well, I think it's maybe it's a mixture between that. Obviously, we get an idea from this trailer that the symbiote is not all good because of that argument he has with him in the alley. But what I think it is I think that it's the symbiote's understanding of what the human form looks like, but because it wants to be intimidating, because it wants to be frightening, it takes that up a notch.
It kicks up to monster level.
Elongates the teeth, elongates the tongue, makes the eyes crazy looking and stuff. And so maybe that's its reasoning for taking on that shape. But ultimately, this looks good. I like how Venom looks in this.
I do too.
I liked how Venom looked in Spider-Man 3. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now.
It wasn't awful.
It was really good.
And I mean, and especially for the time frame that it was released in.
Right?
Like, look at movies in that time frame, compared to now. Yeah, we've come a long way.
In comparison, New Goblin, which is what he was called in that movie, New Goblin looked like shit comparatively. But Sandman and Venom, they look great in that film.
But now, have you noticed in this Venom trailer that there are multiple symbiotes?
Yes. And I think that's we got an idea here how they're going to come into play because of apparently this what is the Life Foundation? I think it's the Life Foundation who is experimenting with symbiotes and human biology. And so I think that's where we're going to get our other things, maybe. And I'm going to call this right now. This is my little mid-credit scene or ending
we're on
scene.
The same page.
I think at the very end or during the credits, we're going to get a Cletus Cassidy scene.
Well, okay, now here's the thing. Cletus Cassidy's in the movie.
Oh, is
Woody Harrelson is cast to play Cletus Cassidy.
That is correct. Yeah,
Now,
I forgot about that.
Like, it hasn't actually been labeled like on IMDb or anything that Woody Harrelson is Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, and they don't do that. There's a character in Avengers Infinity War, which we're not going to talk about here again. You'll have to check out our SMP number 41 to get that one. Anyways, but no, there's a character in there that was not on the card until the movie came out.
Right?
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about now.
Yep.
But it's one of those things like, okay, they've talked about it now, like there's a cast for it and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What I think that might happen, like it's going to be a lead into, like, and I feel like either mid or end credits is when we'll actually see like the red start to take shape. But what I see us getting during the movie are going to be like other in-suit symbiotes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we had that that teaser image that came out forever ago where it was Eddie Brock. It was not Channing Tatum. No, for some reason I thought Channing Tatum, but yeah, no, it's Eddie Brock, and he's got that list, and it's got names of symbiotes on it.
Well, and I can't think of the actual names.
No, off the top of my head.
But like not from that, but like the symbiote names. I want to say Scream is one of them.
There's a lot, especially now.
The yellow. Yeah. Well, no, from like back before Toxin was even a thing.
Yeah, but
like the yellow, the green, the blue, the pink, like you know the ones I'm talking about.
Oh, wouldn't it be so cool if Cletus's hadn't kicked in yet, or maybe it's kicking in under the radar, and there's kind of like an Eddie Brock Cletus Cassidy team up thing for a little bit before Carnage totally takes over. I think that would be a pretty interesting dynamic. I don't know.
That could be interesting because from what we have heard and understood from the plot of this is we're looking at a mixture of Lethal Protector and Planet of the Symbiotes stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll get other like symbiotes because like there's the one scene where when they're talking about how they've been experimenting with human symbiote merging, that it's a chick, and I feel like the room was pink.
Okay.
But like
it's probably just the lighting.
Well, yeah. But the reason that is significant to me is one of the symbiotes that he fights at one of the points is pink and black.
Okay.
And then like there's the yellow and black one. They all have black in them. But I mean that's because they're children of Venom, essentially.
Right. Either way, this looks really cool. I liked the trailer. I'm actually excited for this, and I was not. Like during the whole like the news stream that was coming out, we covered a few of these a few times, but
you were
I was like, I don't care. It's Sony doing a Venom film. Who gives a fuck? And now I'm actually kind of jazzed up. And that whole in association with Marvel thing, that's got me expecting things I probably shouldn't.
Well, Tom Holland is rumored to be in the movie as Peter Parker.
It's rumored that he was on set. Nobody has legit come out and said definitely. Yeah.
Like some of the things that I've read and heard and whatnot is there's no Spider-Man in the movie at all. Like there is rumors of Peter Parker. But there's no Spider-Man. So what do you think that's gonna entail? Like, do you think we're gonna see like Venom with like the spider look on the front? Do you think it's just gonna be solid black, or are they gonna like nix the whole he goes with Spider-Man first and is shunned?
No, I don't think we're gonna get all that. I don't know. I'm thinking like there's got to be something in there. Like maybe not so much a showdown, but maybe Eddie Brock is adjacent. Like after the Venom symbiote has attached to him, maybe he's adjacent to some sort of showdown that Spider-Man's having. or something, and then it just reads from that, and he's like, that looks like the most powerful person I've seen yet. I want to imitate that.
Or even something as simple as a news picture.
No,
Like,
I don't know if that would do
wanted,
do all of it.
Like wanted Spider-Man, like something like that, posted all over like the side of a bulletin.
What if Tom Holland is in an alley throwing away his old costume, the non-Tony Stark costume, and as he's leaving, he bumps into Eddie Brock, and he's going down that alleyway or something, and Eddie Brock inspects the costume or something. That would be interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's a way to go about it.
Okay. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, tell us your Venom predictions and thoughts down in the comments below. But we're going to go ahead and move on from that into the news. And the first bit of news I wanted to bring up was apparently they had a plan for the Ash vs. Evil Dead 4th season. And it's kind of a bummer that this didn't happen, especially for those who know about the alternate ending for Army of Darkness. Are you aware of this?
I think so.
Okay.
I have that copy.
Yeah. The alternate ending for Army of Darkness was that he takes a serum to go to sleep for a century, so he will wake up in his time. But while he's taking it, it's supposed to be limited to 6 drops, and while he's taking it, he gets distracted after taking the 5th drop. And so when he turns back to take the 6th drop, he takes the 5th drop again, not realizing he's already done it, and takes 7 drops total. And so he wakes up too far in the future. It's all post-apocalyptic. The world is destroyed, and he's screaming, "I slept too long!" And apparently this was kind of the idea, because an unnamed source told Bloody Disgusting that if the show had made it to a 4th season, it would have been set in that post-apocalyptic future with robots. So, Ash vs. Evil Dead, post-apocalypse with robots. That's what we missed out on. Thanks a lot, pirates. Because that is the blame here. Like, they have never strayed away from saying, like, look, it's you assholes downloading that's killing us, you know? So, yeah.
Maybe Metallica was onto something.
Yeah, something like that. Then again, they could be a little more forgiving with shit. Like Cobra Kai, but we'll talk about that later. Odle, I know you keep trying to bring it up. It is the second time now.
You caught me. I just can't.
We're going to talk about it later.
You promise?
I promise.
Okay. That's all I needed.
You're the reason it's been in the show like 5 times.
I can't get enough of it.
All right. You know what?
But what about Cobra Kai?
Well, hold the fuck on. All right, because we got to talk about something that Star Wars can't get enough of, and that's apparently Alden Ehrenreich. Is it Ehrenreich? I've called him Eichenreich. I've called him Mike and Ike.
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich. Okay. All right. Alden Ehrenreich has apparently been signed on for 3 total Star Wars movies. This was a part of his initial signing, though, so let's go ahead and point that out. And apparently they've done this with a lot of their actors, not just in Lucasfilm, but also for Marvel Studios. Kind of a cover all bases thing, maybe, because apparently the characters of Rogue One were also all signed on for 3 movie deals, and we saw how Rogue One ended, so I'm pretty confident we're not getting a sequel.
We might.
Well, but yeah, anyways, the actor let this slip in an interview with Esquire recently, and that has me worried because we know that Han Solo lives to the end of this film. So there's no Rogue One situation here. We know Han Solo goes on to do bigger and better things. So we may very well see this guy again. And again, I haven't. Maybe voice thing. I don't know, but
Chewie has flashbacks. Everyone's just going.
We haven't seen the actual movie yet, so we are trying to be forgiving. But everything we've seen from the trailers, everyone else is on. We're loving everything but Mr. Ehrenreich. He's the one. He's the one black sheep in every trailer, in every news story.
Mhm.
This one included, that has stood out to us as like, no, thank you. We don't need that. So, if you were to cast Alden Ehrenreich, or Ehrenreich, sorry, I did it again. If you were to cast him in another Star Wars project, knowing his current prowess and what we've heard from behind the scenes, and you had to use him one more time, where would you put him? What would you do with him?
I'd make him a droid.
No, he's signed on for 3 more Han Solo appearances. That's his character.
Flashbacks.
And they don't fuck with continuity anymore, man.
Flashbacks with Chewie.
Flashbacks
with Chewie.
In what movie? In like, wait, in episode 9, you would put Alden Ehrenreich in a flashback in episode 9.
You know what? No. Oh my god. Instead of just reusing footage from like the Han Solo movie or something like that, it's like they're doing something in the Millennium Falcon, and it's exactly the way that something happened with them, like in their early days of the Millennium Falcon, and like Chewie has a flashback real quick.
See, and here's
takes the wheel, like maneuvers through or something.
Here's the worst thing, and you gotta watch your S's because I'm hearing that spike and you're like fucking crazy. It's all a work in progress, people. The more we grow, the more I have to figure out. But anyways, yeah. The thing about people right now is that we would much rather see like a CG'd in young version of Han Solo, of Harrison Ford, than have this actor. And that's where we're at right now. So to entertain the idea that this guy might show up 3 more times, it's just insane. 2 more times.
2 more
right,
times.
yes, 2 more times.
Don't put more of a burden on us than there has to be.
Yeah, we only have to suffer 2 more times for that. But luckily, one thing that probably won't be sufferable, and might actually turn out to be really well, given the fact that Clone Wars was really popular and that Rebels did really well, is we got a new Star Wars animated series announced. And the series is titled Star Wars Resistance. And it's actually going to be done in an anime style this time.
And there's going to be a Batman.
No. Different company. But it is going to take place during the sequel trilogy. So hence the name Resistance. So apparently this thing is going to feature established characters like Poe Dameron, Captain Phasma, and of course everyone's favorite BB-8. You know, if Episode 9 could just let him take the wheel, you know, we might be in good standing, because apparently nothing else they can do is working for anyone. Sorry, I had a moment there.
Calm down.
I love The Last Jedi. God damn it. Anyways, Oscar Isaac, Gwendolyn Christie, they are going to be reprising their roles in this, so that's pretty cool. We're getting the characters from the movie and the actors that played them. I was going to say their voices, but that's what they're going to be doing. They have already
the actors are going to be doing the voices for their characters.
Whatever, if you want to make sense. But apparently it's going to be focused on a new character named Kazuda Xiono. I can get that right, but I can't get Aaron. But this is a young Resistance pilot tasked with the top secret mission to spy on the growing threat of the First Order. So anyways, what are your thoughts on this? We're going to be following yet another expert pilot. Or I guess it's a young pilot. We don't know if they're an expert yet. It seems like every time we focus on a pilot, though, they're a badass.
Yeah.
We got Poe and Luke right off of that. Oh, yeah, and Anakin. I forgot Anakin's name. I can't believe I forgot Anakin fucking Skywalker.
You forgot one of the most critical characters to the Star Wars, regardless of whether he was portrayed well or not.
That was intense. Whoa!
I I need to leave now. I can't be. There's so much shame in this room right now.
Just to let you know, we're going to be doing Star Wars Episode 1 on the next Commoners Commentary. No, that's actually not it. That's not what we should, though.
You know what? No. You know what we do?
What?
Once episode 9 comes out on DVD, we have a marathon.
Yes.
A marathon commentary of 1 through 9.
That's 2 years away?
Something like that.
Apparently, we're planning too far in the future. We don't even know if we can maintain this thing in 2 weeks, let alone in 2 years. But yeah, anyways, that's a new show coming from them, and DC's also got a whole lot of new shows coming. Mm-hmm. There was a ton of news about the upcoming DC streaming service. First up, we got the name of the damn thing. That got announced, and apparently this new streaming service is going to be titled DC Universe, because that's not confusing.
The DCU.
Yeah.
It's DCU.
I mean, they're capitalizing. They're obviously capitalizing. DCEU? Well, they're obviously capitalizing on the MCU moniker type thing, but when you've got the comic books with the DC Universe up in the corner now, you get a little confusing. I don't know. But, I mean, this is also supposed to appeal to people who don't read comics and are just interested in the live-action thing.
Which is, for the most part, all still good.
Yeah, right. But along with that, we also got some new logos for the various shows that are going to be showing up. Mm-hmm. We got the new logo for the DC Universe streaming service there. We've got this pulled up. Those of you on YouTube will probably be seeing these too, but those of you who are live are going to have to Google it. We got the DC Titans logo. Only on DC Universe. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that it's tinted blue, obviously putting Nightwing a little first and foremost there.
I wonder if he's actually going to become Nightwing in the show.
Well, yeah, isn't he
Robin?
Well, no, they've shown the Robin costume, but they've said we have cast our Nightwing. When the dude got cast, it was said like this is our Nightwing.
I thought they said that this is our Robin.
No, I think he's going to be Nightwing all the way. Right, and it also has the kind of edging for that. But yeah, we also got
one. I cannot wait for. Now you've watched.
I watched the first season. Never made it to the second.
Oh.
I don't even know why. I was running a comic book store at the time, and my ex-wife was leaving me, so maybe I could take a pass on that.
Had you watched Young Justice,
it would have made it all better. I would have drank so much less.
Exactly.
Oh man, all that money wasted. Anyways, but yeah, we've got the title card for Young Justice Outsiders as well. Do you think this is going to include the Outsiders team? Because this is the first I'm seeing the Outsiders part of the title.
I feel like that if it were going to include the Outsiders as a team, because I'm pretty sure Outsiders is a Vertigo thing.
No, it was maybe it eventually became one, but the Outsiders was initially a team formed by Batman. Like I think it was an 80s. Kind of a 70s or 80s book, yeah.
Batman Chosen.
It was called It was literally called Batman and the Outsiders. Yeah, and it had Katana and I think. Oh my God! It had Guy Gardner. Please tell me Guy Gardner's not in the show. Oh no! Oh no!
Well, you know what? We haven't gotten any. We haven't really gotten a Lantern in Young Justice, so maybe we get like a teenage Guy Gardner.
No, not even because he's insufferable as an adult. How do you think of it? Like angst-ridden, hormonal fucking Guy Gardner's gonna come across. Well, break my TV in the first week.
Watch season 2. See the character progression that happens in season 2.
It doesn't matter. I already liked season 1. I was excited enough for this off the back of season 1. I don't want Guy Gardner.
But okay, regardless of whether Guy Gardner's in there or not,
here's how it could be saved. If Guy Gardner is in the show, and I'm sure he isn't, but if Guy Gardner is in the show, here's how they could save it for me. They reenact the scene from the comic book where Batman punches him in the face because he's mouthing off.
I feel like that would be a guarantee if Guy Gardner.
I have that book. It's not a money book either. It's not really worth anything, but I intend on having it framed.
Just get it graded.
I'm going to get it graded, CGC, it's going to go up on the wall.
You could probably find like a high-grade copy of that book for like $20.
Why not? And they charge by how much the book is worth too. So like a solid $40, and I'm good to go.
I was gonna say at most you're looking at like $30 to $40.
Right. Well, we also got another one here for the Harley Quinn animated show.
Okay.
I'm digging this. It's got kind of an ember thing going on with the background, but more importantly, it's got one of those like what is it?
Like
plasma neon plasma signs.
Like your stereotypical old open sign.
Yeah, and we don't know much about this show.
We don't really know hardly anything about this show.
Wasn't it stated that Tara Strong was gonna be playing Harley Quinn in this?
I think that's about all we know.
Yeah, which good job, which is a great decision. Having her. And I still have not shared it to the Sort of My Podcast Instagram, which you guys should go follow right now. But she posted a picture of herself two side-by-side pictures of her in Batgirl cosplay and Harley Quinn cosplay. And I'm sitting there going, why the fuck have they not cast her in something live action? Margot Robbie is fine. But Tara Strong is not only embodies the attitude of the character strictly through voice, but does the voice perfect. Everything we love from the original animated series, Well, she took the animated series voice and she took it to the appropriate level and she perfected it.
That's one of those things that's like, she is Harley Quinn. Kevin Conroy is Batman.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is the Joker. Like, you have these people that are this character.
And I've said a million times too, Mark Hamill, if he were like, especially now, if he were playing like an aged Joker, could totally do it. He has the look for sure.
He does.
The only person there who could not play their live action counterpart is Kevin Conroy, but that's fine because it does a perfect voice, and that's what I use when I read the comics.
Yep.
But they also announced a new show that's going to be coming to the DC Universe streaming service. And that is Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's been gaining a lot of attention in the comic books lately. People have been pretty jazzed up about it, and I love this like semi-horror, kind of a mist feel that this title card has to it. It's got the hand reaching up, which I think was an advertisement thing for the old TV series. I want to say.
I think so.
Not the movie. I want to say it was for the TV series, but yeah. We got that. We also got a new update for the Titans show. We got from DC Warner Brothers themselves announcing that Donna Troy is going to be joining the cast of Titans.
Good choice.
Apparently, she's going to be played by Connor Leslie, who some of you might know from The Blacklist. And if that's not reason enough to sign on, we've still got Hawk and Dove. We've got Beast Boy, Starfire, which I'm not excited for. You'll find out why if you listen to SMP number 40. Fuck, I'm a whore on this episode.
Really,
a whore on this episode. We also got Beast Boy, Raven, Robin, Nightwing. I'm pretty damn sure. But we're getting a full, well-rounded cast. We haven't heard anything about a villain, though. Who's gonna be the villain?
Ooh,
is it gonna be Hive? Is it going to be Deathstroke? Like, what are we doing?
I could see it being Hive over Deathstroke.
Yeah, probably.
Because, I mean, we have the established Deathstroke now in the DC film.
But at the same time...
And in the DC, Berlantiverse.
Now, you got to take that DC film with a grain of salt because you never know what's coming. They could drop that right away.
But we do have Manu Bennett as Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, and Arrow, and all that.
And unlike when they did Deadshot for the Suicide Squad movie, they didn't make them kill off Deathstroke. And they weren't like, look, we're going to use him in the movies. You can't use him anymore. Because he's shown up since Justice League, I think in like 1 or 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that they might allow him in this, because And this is the real reason to do that. Terra. The only great way to do Terra, the only awesome way to do Terra is to do a Judas Contract type story.
That's what I was literally about to say. This first season could be like slightly before, during, and after the Judas Contract.
What if this is the Ravager section of that? What if this is them up? What if the Ravager is going to be their villain for this, and that's who they're up against? That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
That's the way you do this first season. And then second season is Judas Contract. And then third season we're bringing Hive. Or, well, no, combine Hive into the second season, have Deathstroke working with Hive. There you go. There you go. We just
Why don't we work for DC?
Why are we not making these things? We've already come up with at least one. We came up with 3 ideas for Venom, and I think one of them was actually good. But we got this now on the slate. Man, they're missing out. Guys, if any of our loyal listeners, the illustrious 10, you Sortamites out there, you know anyone working for these companies, send them this way so they can steal our ideas.
We need it. This is all copyrighted. This is all original ideas
right now. Yeah. Anyway, I had others. Whoa, wait a minute. Nope. Nope.
Good job.
Yeah, anyways. Hey, the train's here. Yeah, no, I totally fucked that up. Editing. Totally fucked that up. Anyways, our last story here before I think we go into phone booth news is going to be a celebration of Lois Lane's 80th anniversary. With all the hype from Action Comics number 1000, we've kind of skipped over another character who everyone knows that made her debut in Action Comics number 1, 1938, who is celebrating an 80th now, and that, again, is Lois Lane. So I wanted to show her a little love, talk about where she came from, how Joe and Jerry came up with this character, and maybe we talk about some of our favorite iterations of the character, live action over the years, or maybe animated, whatever. But when we think of Lois Lane, we think of a tenacious, outspoken character, a woman dedicated to a greater calling. That characterization is owed to 2 major inspirations. Her fast-talking sass comes from the film character Torchy Blaine, the lady bloodhound with a nose for news, who starred in a number of black and white serials back in the day. The other influence came from a real-life pioneering journalist, Nellie Bly. Bly started writing for the Pittsburgh Dispatch in 1885, a job that would see her go on to have some pretty wild adventures, from traveling the world in a record 72 days to going undercover as a sweatshop worker and later a mental patient on Blackwell Island to expose institutional abuse. Her investigative work was considered groundbreaking territory for a reporter of either gender.
I think I've actually heard about that story of her going into the mental institution.
Yeah,
and that was like one of the most
I think Blackwell was one of the inspirations for Blackgate in the DC universe too. Was Lois Lane created as Superman's damsel in distress? Of course. It was a product of the time, but right from the start, her passion for uncovering the truth pulled at a thread of this stereotype until unraveling it completely. Lois has always been a character who demands purpose beyond being a plot device, whether that's winning her prized Pulitzer or protecting her superpowered son. And we have never really seen her break mold from that. There are once or twice maybe she's gotten superpowers, but otherwise this character, unlike Superman, unlike Jimmy Olsen, unlike all the other supporting Superman cast, has never been reinvented, because Lois Lane works. Whether it's the 30s or 2018, she works. So I cannot say wholeheartedly enough that I am so happy Lois Lane has been a part of these books, that I'm so happy that she has been a part of this recent Superman storyline, because it gives us so much more from the Man of Steel, seeing him interact with a family. And who better to take on the Man of Steel than the woman with the balls of steel, like Lois Lane, So, again, I thought...
that sentence, didn't you?
No, I just came up with it. It was right here on the spot, honestly. Yeah. What, do you see it written down in my notes?
Yeah, actually, right there.
No, come on now. All right, don't bullshit people. We're going to edit that out now. But anyways, yeah, I thought it'd be fun for us to discuss the best interpretation of the character I just laid out there from the shows and the movies and everything.
Honestly, a lot of my exposure to Lois Lane comes primarily from the animated series.
Really?
I remember her more from the animated series than I do from comics, Smallville.
That made way more noise than I thought it would.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a pause.
Yep, here we go. I am drinking sparkling alcoholic black cherry water.
Now that Vinny has been officially labeled a little bitch.
Or I was going to go with douchebag, but all right, fuck you. What?
Yeah, but anyway, a lot of my memories of Lois Lane come straight from the animated series. That's the look. Like, that's what I see when I think of Lois Lane. Like, I don't think of any of the live action interpretation other than, like, here recently. Yeah. With the newer movies. Obviously, you can see her and all that. But when I think of Lois Lane...
Amy Adams.
Yeah. I'm glad you know names.
Some of them. This podcast is not a good evidence of this. Yeah.
But, whether it was in the Superman animated series, her pop-ups on Batman animated series, any of that, like, that's the look and what comes to mind when I think of Lois Lane.
Okay. For me, like, I mean, okay, there have been so many good ones. Margot Kidder being one of the prominent ones a lot of people think of. But for me, honestly, the animated series doesn't bring that up. For some reason, I never think of the animated series. Even though the reason I started reading Superman, the first comic I ever picked up was a Superman book, was because I was watching the animated series. And still, the one that comes to mind for me is Smallville's Lois Lane.
See, now there's where, like, my problem comes in is the fact that I've not watched Smallville the point of Lois Lane coming into play.
And for some reason, I am you're drawing a blank on her name right now. God damn it! And it's the voice I use when I read the comics. This is the voice
on knowing names.
For some reason, this is the voice I use when I'm reading the comics. Is I envision, and she's on Supergirl right now too. She's playing Laura. Or not Laura, because that's Superman's mom, but she's playing Supergirl's mom right now. They recast for her. Yes. Yeah. I wanted to say Kobe Smulders, but that's Maria Hill. Yeah. So,
you know what? That's who I'm going to start using as my mental image for Lois Lane.
Yep. Anyways. Kobe Smulders. No,
but not Maria Hill version.
Well, anyways, Lois Lane from the Smallville show, she was like that next level for that character. Like, she brought Lois Lane into a new age of women empowerment and stuff. And this was one of the first times I think you really saw Lois Lane get into fistfights. Like, she was just like classic Lois, putting herself in situations she shouldn't be in for, truth and making sure she.
The American one.
No, because that's Superman's. Like, just so that she could make sure the right thing was done. Always putting the truth and all that out there before herself. But she could also throw a fucking bitchin' roundhouse kick at the same time. And you saw her get bloody, and you saw her get knocked down, drag-outs. And I thought that was just so awesome. I was like, holy shit. Not only is this Lois Lane gorgeous and impressionable and just a really intelligent woman, but she could also kick some ass, and apparently I have a thing for that. And that's why I started watching wrestling again, because Ronda Rousey started, so what are you doing?
We had some more comments.
Oh, have we gotten some comments about my weird fetish? Well, we've got a record 3 viewers now. So like, all right, tell us more.
Well, one of them is me.
Okay.
One is Ashley, and one is Webb.
Okay. Whoa, Jimmy Webb is joining us. Awesome. Welcome, man. Good of you to join us. But yeah. Anyways, that is who I think of when I think of Lois Lane. That is the voice I use when I'm reading the comic books. I think a close second would probably be Margot Kidder, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. You want to share anything else?
Honestly, like, as far as comic exposure to Lois Lane goes, mine is so minimal.
Yeah.
Like I've read, the most exposure I've had to comic book Lois Lane has been Action 1000 and the Earth 1 books.
Read the Tomasi run, you son of a bitch.
Of Superman or Super Sons?
Of Superman and Super Sons, and then read Action Comics, even though I think he's only been involved in like 1 issue of that, which is Action 1000.
I'm waiting for the Super Sons omnibus to come out this fall. We'll get it.
You and your fucking up. You know that's not how it's going to work out. You're going to get it, and it's going to sit on a pile in front of all the other ones you haven't read yet.
You know me so well.
I know you because I've organized this room, which you have destroyed again. Speaking of destroying things, how about I absolutely decimate this script I wrote for Phonebooth News, which is the fun segment that we do on this show, because unfortunately there's a ton of news that comes out and we can't talk all day about everything that happens, so we created this little segment.
It's time for the news, the Phonebooth News.
That's right, everyone. It's time for Phonebooth News, where we give you the news faster than Deadpool can save the day, which gives us roughly 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Odle is going to be on the timer here. I'm going to be reading off of a pre-written script that I have done.
Fortunately for you, this week, you don't have any distractions.
This is true. Nobody's going to be humping my shoulder and potentially throwing things at me and bumping the microphones, which is so much fun for me when I'm editing. Yeah.
And go.
Oh, holy shit. In video game news, Capcom is teaming with IM 8-Bit to produce NES and SNES cartridges for Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X to celebrate their 30th anniversary. Both games will be limited to 8,500 copies each. Announced on the PlayStation blog, the second of 3 pre-order bonus suits for the upcoming Spider-Man game will be the Avengers Infinity War Iron Man suit, or Iron Spider suit. In comics news, DC Comics announced they'll be releasing a deluxe edition hardcover of Action Comics number 1000, available September 26th. Doomsday Clock issues 5 and 6 have been pushed back a month each, with number 5 coming out June 20th and number 6 coming out August 29th. WWE fans may want to hit the comic racks in October to pick up an original graphic novel charting the Undertaker's 25-year wrestling career from writer Chad Dundas and artist Rodrigo Lorenzo. I love that name. In TV news, Netflix is developing a Fast and Furious animated series that will follow Dom's cousin, Tony Toretto. And Nickelodeon announced it's reviving Double Dare this summer with 40 brand new episodes. In movie news, Kevin Feige told The Wrap that early talks have started about a potential Eternals film from Marvel Studios based on the 70s series from Jack Kirby. Patty Jenkins also confirmed the rumor that from last year that Wonder Woman 2 will take place in the 80s. The CEO of Paramount revealed that CinemaCon that 2 more Star Trek films are in development, and a few days later it was announced that the 4th in the new franchise would be directed by S.J. Clarkson, who worked on Jessica Jones, The Defenders, and Orange is the New Black.
All right.
Also announced at CinemaCon was Sony Pictures' Jumanji 3, slated for December 2019, with chairman Tom Rothman stating, "I bet on seeing Dwayne Johnson in theaters again in December 2019. Don't rush to giving all those screens to Star Wars. Come on, fair is fair." And the live-action Dora the Explorer film has found its lead in Transformers: The Last Knight star Isabella Moner. So much win in that statement. In other news, the new book from George R. R. Martin is coming November 20th, but it's not Winds of Winter. The first of two books will be titled Fire and Blood and will follow House Targaryen's reign in Westeros. Hasbro has acquired Power Rangers and several other properties from Saban this week for $522 million. Hasbro CEO Brian Goldman said, shortly after entering into our licensing agreement, it became clear that now was the time to begin investing in unlocking Power Rangers' full potential. We see significant opportunity for Power Rangers across our entire brand blueprint, including toys and games, consumer products, digital gaming, and entertainment. Finally, despite what your Pokedex says, Pikachu is apparently not a mouse, according to Atsuko Nishida, who worked on the original games. Pikachu was inspired by his obsession with squirrels at the time, and that is the news.
4 minutes, 47 seconds.
Really?
Nah, 3 minutes, 19 seconds.
Yes! I thought it was much lower. Yeah, I did it. See what non-distractions and still fucking up like 8 times does for us. But yeah, that was the phone booth news, which is actually going to lead us into the more somber segment of the show, our Fallen Heroes segment. Every now and then a legend is brought into this world, but before they can become that legend, they have to pass through this mortal coil and become fallen heroes. Which brings us to our one and only fallen hero this episode, BRUNO Sammartino, who was born October 6, 1935 in central Italy in the town of Pisferrato. I don't know if I said that right, especially because I tried to put an accent on it, and I'm sorry. Pisferrato. The youngest of 7 children, 4 of which would not survive childhood, BRUNO suffered starvation, sickness, and due to Nazi occupation in his hometown, complete with regular bombings, and hiding in the mountains of Abruzzo for 14 months, all at a very young age. After immigrating to America, he would endure rampant bullying and beatings for his sickly 90-pound stature and ethnicity, until he discovered weightlifting. By the time he graduated high school in 1953, he was 225 pounds and would go on to be a record-breaking weightlifter before moving on to the world of wrestling, where he would have 2 runs as the world heavyweight champion for a total of 11 years between the 60s and 70s, something unheard of today when people pass the belt around month to month. This legendary trailblazer and WWE Hall of Famer sadly passed last month at the age of 82. Now, if you want to hear more about this guy's really interesting life and journey to America and rising through the ranks of wrestling and getting the belt and everything else, there is a great Talk is Jericho interview for those listening on SoundCloud or watching on YouTube. That is down in the description below. But yeah, this guy is a legendary name in wrestling. You talk to any of the people who younger audiences now consider legends, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, they are all going to point you in the direction of him, who was just insanely great. But going ahead and changing the mood a bit from that sad news, we are going to go into what would be our comic book section, but with one of us being out of town for work, the other one not being able to show up and not being prepared for it at all. One of us only reading 2 issues, and the other one having read the whole thing
years ago.
Like a year, maybe 2 years ago.
So,
but still
I'm
not.
still right. Years,
but still not having time to actually get refreshed on it. We instead decided to do a review of a show that we've talked about a lot on this, and that is Cobra Kai, the sequel to the Karate Kid series. So far, really only 1 and 2 from what I've seen. I've watched the entire series already.
I, however, have only seen the first episode.
Seen the first episode. You really should watch that second one.
I'm going to.
You really should.
It was only until that last trailer for the show came out that I was actually on board. Like,
Right.
every time you would put it on the show, like, the first time you put it on the show, I was like,
You guys were
Okay.
fighting me on that last trailer, too.
Yeah.
I put it in the show topics when it got announced. I put the first teaser in the show as a topic with that.
anytime something happened regarding
I
Cobra
was
Kai,
very
it was in the
excited,
show.
man. I was very
and,
excited.
And you were the only one that was actually excited right off the bat.
Yeah.
It took that last trailer to get us all on board.
Yep.
And I can honestly say, just from this first episode, I am so into it.
Great. Now, first thing I want to do, I want us to do non-spoilers, because this is a show. We're not talking about a comic book from 1991 like we usually do. So we do need to be a little leery of that.
But is there really like that much in the first episode that we can spoil for people?
As far as I'm
Not
thinking of,
really.
no. And there's 10 episodes. So you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to talk about this episode.
Yeah.
Because I will keep my knowledge of spoilers from the future down low, maybe allude to some fun things, but you don't really have to worry about spoilers here. And the first episode is free on YouTube. So when you're done with this, head over and check that out.
It's like 27 minutes.
Yeah. But this first episode is great setup for a great setup in general. If you were talking about anything, just the points it hits, the way it doles it out. We're following Johnny in this first episode. We see Danny, Daniel LaRusso, a few times throughout it. I think maybe twice. We see him in the car dealership.
We see the car dealership, and like there's a commercial.
Yeah, that's right. We see the commercial. But this is
billboard.
really setting up Johnny, and this is really setting up the why of him getting this Cobra Kai dojo reopened. If you didn't know, that was the structure of the show, is that Johnny
and
Lawrence...
that's been revealed in the trailers.
Johnny Lawrence is down on his luck. Well, for those who haven't seen the trailer, whatever. Johnny Lawrence down on his luck. He reopens the Cobra Kai dojo to try and turn some things around, maybe gain some self-importance again.
And I think one of the points you're missing, a reason why he opened it, like having just watched the first episode today, you've breezed through all 10 of them.
No, I watched the first 2 again today.
It's kind of like there was kind of a back and forth between him and LaRusso, and the comment was made, it's a good thing Cobra Kai's gone.
Yeah, but
I think we can all agree
that
on
wasn't
that.
the driving force. I
feel like that was the last straw for him.
No, because it's like halfway through the episode.
No, like, that's the end.
No. Well, okay. All right.
Episode 1.
You're jumping around. You're talking about the middle of the episode where Daniel LaRusso tells him that it's a good thing the Cobra Kai dojo ended, and then jumping to the end of the episode when he finally opens
the
it.
end. Because all of that happens. It's 27 minutes.
27 minutes, I know. But okay. All right. God damn it.
What happens between that?
This is a great review so far.
We're just going to argue about the episode.
A lot happens in between then. Anyways, here's what happens. And, okay, God. Now you've got me all over the place. All right, so we started the show. Johnny is working his various odd jobs, and he ends up getting fired for mouthing off to one of the people who hired him and stuff. But right from the get-go, I think from the first shot, we see things aren't going great because he was waking up in his bed with Doritos and the obvious sponsor of this series, Coors Light, in his bed. It seems rough and shit, and he's having a particularly bad night after his stepfather. And that's another great thing about the show. All throughout, we learn more about Johnny Lawrence's background, because before he was just the bully. We didn't know anything about him.
And that's one of the other things that I love is the way like the episode starts out as the last fight scene from Karate Kid.
Yeah, they show that final fight from the All Valley Under 18 tournament back in 1985? 86?
Something
85 or
like
86, something like
that.
that.
In the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s. The entire decade.
Everything cool happened in the 80s.
That tournament took an entire decade. Really
that last kick was 3 years long. They just sped it up.
Anyways, yeah, so he gets a visit from his stepfather who's trying to get out of Johnny's life because he promised he'd take care of Johnny after his mother died. And so he hands him a check, Johnny tears it up, blah, blah. He's having a bad day. And so he gets real drunk and he ends up outside of the All Valley Arena where the tournament took place, and his car gets hit. And this is why he ends up at Daniel LaRusso's auto dealership, which he's started over the years in between the events of the film and now. And he doesn't want it to be there. He's going there to pick it up, to have it moved to a different auto place. And he's trying to make it get away because they're taking too long. He's like, I'll come pick it up tomorrow. And so he's getting out of there before he can get out. Danny sees him, and they have this little back and forth. And this first episode, and I'm gonna elaborate more on this later. But this first episode sets up Danny as an asshole, much like the trailers did.
Oh, big time!
Yeah.
Like, that was the only vibe I got from him is he's just a dick.
And much was the way of the trailers as well. But okay, I'll elaborate on this now. This show does such an awesome job at leaving no stone unturned, developing and changing almost every character in it, especially Johnny. Like I said, we get to learn more about his background. We see the way he interacts with these kids. Because as the show goes on, you can see he's trying to train them the way he's been trained, but they also hammer in the way he was treated at the end. During that scene where he's at the All Valley Arena, he's remembering the events from the beginning of Karate Kid 2 when he's getting choked out by his master, by his sensei. And so he's trying to avoid being that guy, but at the same time, he only knows this one way of teaching because it's the only way he was taught. So you're seeing some conflict in him. You see Daniel LaRusso and the way he has to deal with his family because one of his kids is a little shithead who's obsessed with technology and doesn't want to do anything or get out. He's a total dick. I hate this kid. And then his daughter, who's actually kind of a normal teenager, and she's like fighting with, do I want to be friends with these people I used to be friends with, or do I want to be one of the popular kids? And that takes a whole roller coaster. The kids have character development and everything. So as this show goes on,
spoilers.
Okay, none of that is spoilers. That's just telling character development. Expect to get emotionally invested, I guess, is the spoiler here. But anyways, no. So yeah, it does a good job of portraying all the changes in this show, and none more than in Johnny and Danny, because Danny is not an asshole throughout the rest of this show. And you'll see that a lot in episode 2. Because I feel like episode 2 focuses a little more on Danny. Episode 1 and 2 focus on building who these characters are so we can get into the rest of the show. But yeah, so anyways, Johnny's car gets hit. We're at the auto dealership. Danny's a dick. And later on, we see Johnny continuing his shitty day. Danny fixing his car for free or something.
No, that must be in the second episode, because in that same scene is when Danny's like, you know what, we'll fix it on the house. My guys need to practice. I'm working on something like this old, all this and that. Like, that's all in that same scene in the car.
Yeah, but doesn't Johnny kick those kids' ass at the mini mart in the first epised?
Yeah, but that's like early on in the episode.
Is it? Okay, I thought it was after that scene.
No, that's early, and that's like 10 minutes in.
Okay. So wait, what happens after the
when he's at the mini mart after he gets fired because he picks out the slice of pizza.
Oh, no, that's fine. We see that Johnny still remembers some of his karate training.
Although I love the fact that he did that first kick. He's like, oh.
He gets that first kick in, and he's like, oh. God.
Like, it's
And
all,
then even after the fight, he's winded. He's
Yeah.
he's not like you see him stumble a little bit and he's a little winded. So it's obviously he's not, because that scene, if you just saw that scene by itself, you'd be like, well, why the fuck is he still this badass and stuff? But no, it's kind of autopilot.
yeah.
And he does get his ass kicked a little bit in that scene. They get some hits in on him and shit.
Big time.
But yeah, so that is one of those things. But what happens after the dealership?
After the dealership scene, he one of the last things said is, I think we can both agree it's a good thing Cobra Kai doesn't exist anymore, something like that.
Is that really?
He goes home, dumps his trash out, and finds the pieces of that check. Goes like, and it starts like this. I really
feel like there was something in between there. No. That's, oh my god. Okay, yeah, we're skipping over the part where he sees the commercial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
he's drinking at
That's
home,
what gets him to go to the Owl
commercial.
Valley thing, yeah.
Yeah,
because
he goes for a drunken drive.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that scene where he's watching the commercial too, and he's sitting there, he's watching this old movie, and I don't know what this movie is. Maybe you can correct us, tell us down in the description or down in the comments if you've seen the episode already. What is that movie? But he's watching this old movie, and there's this big inspirational speech about how what is it, like you'll fall, but you gotta persevere through that, or no, you were born with it, a gift, and it's your responsibility to use it and stuff like that. And then as he's like getting on the edge of his seat, he's cracking the smile, and he's kind of welling up a little bit. He isn't crying, but he's like getting emotional. And then boom, it switches to commercial, and it's a LaRusso auto sales fucking commercial. He's like, Banzai! And his like, God, shit, like, god damn.
I'm sorry, that was like the cheesiest fucking thing ever. Like, here we are, what, over 30 years later, and Danny LaRusso is still like leeching off of those early.
Well, no, and this is that character development, because throughout the show you come to find out he's never given up on those values. He's always held that stuff in high regard. Even having a business before this, won't spoil for you, but he had a business before this that speaks very true to that. And yeah.
But it was just like,
but in this first episode, it is like, oh god, this fucking asshole! Like, what are you doing?
He's like punching the prices.
Yeah. He's like, starting at. He sees this price down below. He's like, nah, that's not gonna do. He punches the price, and it turns into different. It's so bad. It's so cheesy. And the whole time while this commercial is going, Johnny's trying to change the tape. He ends up breaking the thing, and that's why he goes
and
for the drive.
He chucks a beer at the TV.
No, he chucks a bottle of liquor, which he was just pouring into a can of RC Cola. He chucks that and breaks the TV.
And here's my thing about this is he's still living in the 80s. Have you noticed that he is?
Yeah, and that is one steady thing throughout, because he doesn't even know what Facebook is later on.
Well, when I say that though, it's like he's in his home. It's like he's this middle-aged guy in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like and lucky for him, the Coors cans have gone back to their classic appearance.
Yeah, right.
So it looks like,
my god, we
he
should have gotten
literally in the 80s.
We should have gotten those Coors cans. We passed up that opportunity.
I mean,
you and your aluminum. Anyways, but yeah, no, and from the movie, because he's watching television twice in this first episode, and both times it's like shit from the 80s.
Yeah. And like, his music choice,
and the soundtrack in this, just from the first episode, is great.
There is one thing I want to point out, super trivial, but it irked me. Okay, when he's first driving, he stops at a red light, right?
Right.
Now, did you notice the light for the other direction that was beside him?
No,
it was red. So he stopped at a green light.
Maybe that's just
whether it's hindsight.
Well, no, maybe that's just one of those editing like they didn't.
No, because when he goes to turn, Like he goes through the light or whatever. After he stops for a minute, he
No,
turns
that's
or
right.
whatever. The
That's
light,
right.
like you can see out his window, which is clearly the light for the like intersection traffic. It's red through and through.
Yeah.
So he has a green light the whole time. He just stops to reminisce for a second, and then keeps going.
Well, no, he's looking at that billboard. The
Yeah.
LaRusso
Oh
billboard.
yeah, he stops and
He's
looks
like,
at the
"Oh,
billboard.
God, not another one.
But
Yeah.
it's like he stops at a red light
And Danny's
forced to
leg
see it.
is kicked
Yeah.
out. It's re-kicked the competition. Oh my God, it's so bad. I love how
But-
cheesy his
But just for
advertising
no
campaign is.
reason at all, the fact that like it shows he stopped at a green light irked me. But like that's my only issue with that first episode.
Okay.
Like I can guarantee it was some kind of oversight or something that they just didn't pay attention to. Like when editing or
I don't
whatever
know,
it may
yeah.
be, because obviously they close off the streets for this kind of stuff. Only like actual scheduled like vehicles that are supposed to be there are going to be there.
Okay. Well, all right. Now, it's a show on YouTube, right? Come on. So let's be a little. If a traffic light is the worst thing about the show,
Then it's doing
then
all
it's
right.
doing all right. Yeah. Another thing I want to point out from that drunken drive is the flashback sequence from
Yes.
like, because it starts out like he's thinking back to how cool it was hanging out with his friends and dirt biking, and then he thinks about Allie. Yeah, I can remember Allie's name, but I can't remember my favorite Lois Lane's name, the actress's name. Anyways, he's thinking about Allie and he's smiling and shit, and then he
And then
thinks
Danny like steals her away.
yeah, he's thinking about
basically.
Danny showing her the soccer moves and shit. And then before you know it, like he's like hitting himself when he thinks about the kick.
Yeah,
and shit.
like punching the steering wheels. Like he's real happy at the start of the ride, and then he just starts getting pissed.
And it's
more pissed.
It's a movie from the first. It's a song from the first movie too.
Yeah.
That's playing this whole like day breaks. And
Yeah.
hours it seems. So I'll be thinking of you. I don't know the name of the song or who sings it, but I love this. Yeah. Anyways,
You'll just have to look up the
yeah. Again, throw it down in the comments below. Anyways, yeah. So he's doing this whole like reminiscence montage again, living in the 80s. Obviously, this guy never got over it. Like his whole world apparently crumbled, and again, we get so much character development throughout this whole show. You know that's not the only thing that's wrong with this guy. There's been previous trauma and shit that led to a very unstable adult life. So
to say the least.
I mean, the guy has a son. We find out a lot about that relationship moving forward.
You find that out in the first episode.
Well, you find out that he has that, but you don't find out about the relationship. You learn a lot more about the relationship in episode 3, I want to say, and how that all works out. And it's very good. But it's the you are right, because he gets that news about like, oh, we're all better off without Cobra Kai, and that's what spurs him to go back to the kid who was getting his ass kicked
and then
at the
he
mini mart
jumped in when they
before
hit
he
his
jumped
car.
in. Yeah, and was asking him to teach him karate and shit. And he's like, no, fuck you, go away.
Maybe if
shit.
you were less annoying, you wouldn't get picked on.
Yeah, right. That's a great one. But then, he goes right back to that kid, and he's like, look, this is how it's going to be. When we go down this road, there's no quitting, blah, blah, blah. And he gives them this whole speech, are you ready? And then we get a montage. Of course, gotta have a montage. It's a show based off of an 80s movie. And we get a montage of him setting up the dojo and everything.
He pays the lease for the building. He goes in and starts getting it set up. He puts their phrase on the wall.
Right.
He
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
He pulls out his old headband.
Yeah. It's real cool.
Yeah.
Really great show. As someone who's seen every episode, I can tell you, go ahead and check it out. You're going to enjoy it. I would say sit down and watch this one, because I watch a lot of things in the background, looking over for important events and shit. But this one, I just sat down. I literally watched every single episode. and I really enjoyed it. I cannot suggest checking this out further more. After one episode, where are you at with it? Like
I'm
your excitement for the
completely
rest
on
of
board.
it?
Like I can't wait to actually sit down and watch the rest of it.
Right.
I'm actually going to try to watch at least episode 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
If not more. I may try the 30-day YouTube Red trial.
Yeah, I signed up.
I
signed
steal
up
your
for it.
information. I don't know.
This show got me to sign up for YouTube Red, and I couldn't have gave a fuck less about YouTube Red before this. But yeah, it was pretty great, and so I would say go that route.
Absolutely.
But I was looking at the comments here, and I noticed what did James Webb say here? Can we just talk about why Venom has Spider-Man-like abilities without ever coming in contact with the webhead? Jumanji 3 shouldn't happen. Okay, Webb, I don't know if you're still here or not, but one, did you see Jumanji 2? Because that was actually a pretty fun movie.
So I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
I enjoyed it a whole lot. I took my mom to see it for her birthday because she wanted to see one of two movies, and she showed up late, so we couldn't see Black Panther. So her second choice is what we went and saw. In fact, little Easter egg in the back of the Black Panther review is a little review about Jumanji 2. Yeah, snuck in an after credits scene on our Black Panther review. But yeah, it was pretty fun. So I'm kind of on board for Jumanji 3. I'm all right with it.
I'll have to see it before I can make a judgment.
Yeah, I will probably go to the theater to watch it too. I enjoyed the first one that much. It was stupid, but it was a passable stupid. Some jokes didn't land for me as well, but I had a lot of fun with the characters because you have these various kids, as seen in the trailer.
Basically
nerdy kid,
opposite
jock, popular girl, outcast girl, and they're in opposite roles. You know, the nerdy kid is like The Rock, and the popular girl is Jack Black, and the jock is the short and stocky Kevin Hart, and the outcast girl.
Not seen Jumanji 2 yet.
Oh, you have not? Okay, yeah. Well, you got to see it, man. You gotta check out, and this is for anyone watching or listening. Check things out before you have a comment.
Before passing judgment on the
not
future.
Before you have a comment about it, but before you before you blanket an entire franchise. Like, you know, you cannot base the laurels of an entire film off of a trailer, which is why we're trying to be forgiving for Venom and stuff.
Which, speaking of what he was bringing up about Venom, you know, I've had similar thoughts myself.
Right.
Is, you know, and that's where it kind of comes into play is, you know, where are these abilities coming from? Now, we don't actually see any kind of web slinging, which is the primary thing that he takes from Spider-Man. When
the tendrils come out, they're bulky and they're reactionary. Almost like, like...
And when that happens...
that would be an Infinity War spoiler, and I can't say that. Yep.
But it's one of those things, it's a lot more like it's the symbiote itself reacting to what's going on because it's not the suit. Right. Like let me rephrase that. He's not like in costume. Like he's not Venom at that point. It's still Eddie Brock, but the symbiote is protecting him. And
and when he does show his entire suit, when he's got that guy by the throat and he's like, "We are Venom."
Yeah.
That sounded really good.
He like the tendrils from his hand are going around that guy.
It's not like a fully formed hand. It's
I think that's more just the symbiotic abilities.
Yeah.
More
I don't
so
think
than
it's
it is
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. There have been things that I've heard where people are noticing like some white on the costume that look like it might be
there was a little
Venom,
up towards
like,
the shoulder
symbol or whatever. You know, whether that's what that is, we don't know where that may come from at that point in the movie.
Right.
But it could be from him seeing the spider suit, something along those lines.
Yeah, like with
Because,
maybe there's that scene.
This doesn't get spoilery. From Infinity War, we do see the Iron Spider suit has a very Venom-esque, like, full torso coverage of the spider. So, seeing that on, like, a newscast or something of that nature could spawn that emblem.
I'm really hoping it's one of those. He's adjacent for a Spider-Man fight, and that's what inspires him to take on that role, because that would be pretty cool. Just see Spider-Man in it, and especially if it's the Tony Stark suit, if it's the Tom Holland suit, that ties it into the MCU, and that's even cooler, because that's how these movies should be.
Yeah.
It's the smart play. But then again, this is also a Sony-led film, so if it is tied to the MCU and it sucks, this would be the first really shitty MCU film. So, we'll see what we get there. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nothing that I can think of.
All right. Well, guys, like this episode if you liked it. Subscribe if you loved it. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that bell down below for the notifications and everything. YouTube is all screwed up right now, so that's the only way you're going to get updates on our newest videos. Comment your thoughts on any of today's stories down below. And please, again, share this episode on social media or any episodes that you enjoy. We need money, but we also need exposure. And we're working on the money. You guys are the exposures.
Expose us to your friends.
Tell you guys what, we'll take the money. You guys work on the exposure. Break. That's going to do it for me, Vincent Herman, Vin the Human.
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
And cue that spider-like outro music.
Joke's on you, that's X-Men.
That is X-Men, God damn it! I betrayed us all! Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn in my nerd card and end this Nerd News podcast, because obviously I don't deserve it. Also, it won't let me end it. Goodbye!